Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by Pokemon Trainer Jay. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
In order to prepare for their new system, the Ingress team switched off portal nominations within Ingress on the 15th of April. You can still scan portals and report invalid portals, however you can't submit any edits or any new portals. However, you can submit things in Pokemon GO if you are level 37 or higher and have passed the Wayfarer onboarding. Until there is a new system in place, the things you submit there should sync to Ingress as long as they meet the inclusion rules of being 20 meters away from an existing portal. For agents who haven't used Pokemon GO before, I want to give a quick walkthrough of how you submit in Pokemon GO, and the changes there are a little bit different to Ingress as well. So I'm assuming that you've hit level 37 or higher in Pokemon GO and have passed the Wayfarer onboarding. If you want to submit a new wayspot in Pokemon GO, there's not a nominations button on the screen like there was in Ingress. The menu is a little more hidden, so what you need to do from your main screen where your avatar's on there walking around is tap the Pokeball in the middle of the screen, and then from there you go to the top right to settings. You may have to scroll down a bit if you've got a large phone, but there's a section that starts at AR and the second option there is uploads. Onto uploads and you'll see there PokéStop contribution and the button that's got a white background in green text. It says new PokéStop. It will tell you how many nominations you have available, which is 40 is the max, same as Ingress. If you hit the new PokéStop button, you'll see a similar looking map to Ingress, and you'll see on there anything that appears in Pokemon GO is highlighted as a blue PokéStop spinner. And anything that appears in other Niantic games, which would include Ingress and also include the power spots that you see in Pokemon GO that we've covered previously. Those appear as an orange Wayfarer pin. You can tap those to see, make sure you're not submitting a duplicate. On this map screen, same as in Ingress, you look around and place the pin where the nomination is. The description for photo and the supporting photo is basically the same. It just mentions a great PokéStop photo disc rather than portal photo, so you can use the same kind of images you'd use for Ingress. It will then ask you to add PokéStop title, enter unique title, detailed title here. I'm just doing it as I'm going along, just typing in test, things like that, but obviously do it properly. It also asks you to add a PokéStop description, enter the origin, history or background of this place here. The next screen you get to is something you won't have come across before in Ingress. So Pokemon GO asks users to categorize each nomination. So you'll have seen these when you're reviewing in Wayfarer, the things of like selecting restaurant, Italian restaurant, religious building, mosque, things like that. It sometimes takes some drilling into people that aren't used to Wayfarer. This list of categories isn't a list of things that are eligible. So looking on there, there's things like private home, which is not eligible, things like nude beach, things like a primary school, or various things that aren't eligible, but they're just on the list. I assume Niantic brought the list from somewhere. As I said, it will ask you to categorize the nominations. So if you're submitting a trail marker, you type in trail marker and make that selection. You can select up to 3 things it is. So maybe it's a trail marker on a footbridge. So you could do trail marker footbridge, or it's a map. So you'd select map, things like that. You can also select in here other, and then there'll be a box that appears at the bottom to ask for a category suggestion and enter comma separated suggestions here. So if you're submitting something that is eligible but there's not a category for it, you can suggest a category there. I've no idea where these category suggestions go to and whether they update the list. I believe this list has been updated at least once, only because I remember there used to be a category for time capsule on here, which is no longer in place. Once you've categorized the location with, as I said, up to 3 things on there, then you'll see everything on the map and see your nomination, check the title, check everything, and then it's a case of hit confirm, put in your supporting information, obviously not mentioning any game references like that, and making sure you're clear on why it's a great place for exploring, exercising or socializing. And you submit it on there, it's reviewed by wayfarers, hopefully as part of this global challenge that's going on at the moment, as I recorded this on the 19th of April. Then if it's approved, you'll get an email, and well, if it's rejected, you'll get an email too. If it's approved, you'll get an email, and then you'll be able to see whether it appears on Ingress, check the Intel map later on when it syncs. Unfortunately, this means you won't get a portal key or AP for the portal discovery, and it won't count for your portal discovery metric within Ingress, but it's a workaround for now. If you do have portals that need to be submitted, you can do them via Pokemon GO, as long as you're level 37 or above, pass the Wayfarer onboarding. As I said, I just wanted to talk through it and get the categories bit out of the way as well, because it's not something you'll have come across before. A word of caution, in low signal areas, sometimes the category list doesn't load or takes ages to load. So if you are in a low signal area, I'd recommend going somewhere that's got a bit of signal and then seeing if you can move the pin to where the location is. You don't have as much distance to move the pin as you do in Ingress, as far as I'm aware. But that's the basics of submitting in Pokemon GO, as you can do that for now until the new system comes around for Ingress. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do that on a few channels. So on Threads under the name ingress.insights, on Instagram under the name ingress.insights as well. Twitter/X, which posts episodes of the podcast, is under Ingress Insights, no dot in that one. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube under Ingress Insights podcast. You can send us a voice message by visiting the podcaster's Spotify page. And finally, you can buy Ingress Insights merch, such as mugs, pins, t-shirts, by going to epublic.com/user/ingress-insights. And on there, you'll see all the designs that we've got listed at the moment. There are some new ones that will be coming up at some point soon, but you can buy your Ingress Insights mug, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, anything like that you want. Thank you again for listening. Hope you tune in next week. If you do like the show, please do rate it on the podcast service you're listening to. I look forward to speaking with you all about Ingress again.
Intel package transferred.